News and information 570 AM.
96.3 FM HD2. KLIF Dallas. KSCS FM HD2 Fort Worth. KLIF.com.
A Cumulus station.
Now, from the fifth floor Cumulus Studios in downtown Dallas, it's time for Inside Real Estate. Here's your host, Michael Kruizinga.
Good morning, DFW Metroplex. This is Mike Kruizinga, your local Dallas-Fort Worth area realtor, and this is Inside Real Estate. I'm with the Chris Arnold Premier Brokerage over in Uptown Dallas. A lot of you have heard about Chris Arnold. You've heard the Chris Arnold ads on the radio, in particular on 570 KLF's own Glenn Beck program. You've heard our guaranteed sale ads all over the place, and if you want to talk to us about that guaranteed sale, check us out. You can come to the website, insiderealestateradio.com, get more information on that. Today is July 5th, 2015. Happy 4th of July weekend to everybody out there. Hope everyone's having a happy and safe holiday weekend. Hope everybody's getting a lot of barbecue and enjoying the pool and the lakes out there and just having a good, safe time. It is the 239th birthday of good old US of A, so happy birthday. I happen to be a bicentennial baby myself, and so good thing about that is I always know exactly how old the country is. It's me plus 200, so 239, although I'm 38. I got a few more months. October is 39, so I'm not quite there yet, but and I've decided when I do turn 39, I'm going to just dial it back to 35 and stay there forever. Fit and healthy. Don't feel like I'm approaching 40, so let's just keep it at 35. Okay, this day in history. I always like to mention a couple things about what happened on this day, July 5, back in history. Decided to go to the sports route this time. So, 1937, July 5th, 1937, Joe DiMaggio hits his first Grand Slam. How many did he have all time? He had 13 Grand Slams, and he was 22 in the all-time. Now, who was number one in Grand Slams? Well, it was A-Rod. So we know how we kind of feel about that. So we'll skip that one. And then we'll go to Lou Gehrig. Lou Gehrig at 23. As far as I'm concerned, Lou Gehrig, 23. He was number one in all-time Grand Slams. What else in July 5th back in time? 1919. Babe Ruth hits 2 homers in a game. And how many times did he do that? 72 times. He hit at least 2 homers in a game. And if you're wondering where he was in the Grand Slams ranks, he hit 16 Grand Slams all-time career, and he came in at number 12 in the all-time Grand Slam leaders. And that was this day, July 5th, back in history. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. We're going to be talking all things real estate. I know there's thousands and thousands of you out there that have that real estate itch, and we're just going to have to scratch it for you. So we're going to talk all things real estate, and we're going to maybe throw in a little bit of sports entertainment just to break it up. But let's see what we got today. So coming up, 8:15, we're going to have Mortgage Talk. We've got live in studio Terry Wagner from Supreme Lending Rockwall, and a website over there, rockymartin.com. You want to check those guys out, and they're going to be standing by at their office. So if you wanted to catch up with them at the office, 866-607-5667, 866-607-5667. And so we're going to be talking down payment assistance with Terry Wagner. And also, we'd love to take any calls at 8:15 for the mortgage segment. So, any truck drivers out there, anybody listening, got questions about mortgage, refinance, why don't you give us a shout at 8:15? And call number 888-787-KLIF, 888-787-KLIF, 5543 on the back four. Coming up 8:30, we're going to be talking insurance. It's our J.C. Harder Goosehead Insurance Agency segment. And interesting topic we've got coming up there. Guys, especially, one of the big investments we purchase in our relationships is that engagement ring for our lovely ladies out there. And, how many times does that thing get lost? And, did you get that thing covered? And a lot of guys out there, even veterans of many marriages, have failed to do this. And so for you rookies out there that are going to be getting married, it's marriage season, it's summer. And so you want to cover that investment. And it's one of the few investments that through insurance, it's covered if you get it scheduled for loss. And a lot of times that diamond ring goes swimming in the ocean on the honeymoon. So, guys, you want to tune in for that, as well as gals, because gals, you want to protect that investment as well. Later on, we're going to talk some more real estate and a little bit more mortgage if we can as well. We'll get to hopefully that sports and entertainment. Last week, our mortgage segment, we had some technical difficulties last week. We had some audio issues here in the studio, and so a lot of you did not catch the mortgage segment, and we apologize about that. But we went in and edited and amped up the sound on that segment. So if you did miss that mortgage segment last week, we've uploaded it to the website, InsideRealEstateRadio.com. It's on the archive page, and so you can catch the full mortgage segment from last week right there on the website. We talked about a lot of great things. Unfortunately, we just had some audio issues that we didn't quite get resolved. Some of you may, if you caught a little bit of it, you had to turn your volume all the way up to max, and we apologize about that. We got those technical difficulties hopefully squared away here in the studio. And anyway, catch that segment on the website, InsideRealEstateRadio.com. It's on the archive page. So we are going to be taking calls throughout the show. The call number 888-787-KLIF, 888-787-KLIF, 5543 on the back side. If you want to connect with our partners here, our exclusive partners, Supreme Lending Rockwall, J.C. Harder Goosehead Insurance, and Millennium Title, Carroll PC, real estate attorneys, you can always catch up with us on the website, InsideRealEstateRadio.com. If you want to be a part of the show, we're always looking for regular experts and guests to be a part of the show. You can catch up with us there on the website, or if you want to advertise on the show, get on there and reach out to us. So let's get to a little bit of real estate news. I think we've got a little bit of time before we head into the break and then come back for mortgage. A couple things I wanted to throw out to you out there. Hello, Frisco. City Council the other day just approved $1 billion, the Frisco Station project. That was going to be set up kind of around the Cowboys HQ. And so that was approved just this past week over there, City Council. 242 acres, mixed use. They're going to have retail, hotels, all kinds of stuff over there. Boy, I tell you, Frisco, is growing like you wouldn't believe. Some 6 million square foot of office space planned, some 2,400 residential units, and some 200K square feet of retail space. This thing's going to be epic. And, as somebody who grew up in Frisco, I just honestly can't believe what it's turning into. I was there when it was all farmland. I had to drive to Plano to grocery shop. And how about you, Frisco? Boy, I tell you, you guys you're looking good out there. So that was pretty interesting. Tuesday is coming up this week, and we've got auctions on the courthouse steps. And so this was an interesting property built back in 1925 over on Colorado Boulevard, South Dallas, Oak Cliff. Just a beautiful home, beautiful gardens. The property over its history has entertained, had a lot of celebrities at this property, a lot of well-to-do parties, some 4,300 square foot property. And it's going to be starting bid on this thing, $560,000 is the starting bid on it. And, value on this particular property. And, you can if you want to check out auction.com, you can look at it, 1704 West Colorado, just a beautiful property. Value on it's going to be, a little over $1 million, right around $1 million, maybe 1.3, 1.4. Some might say even 1.5 or a little better, but good low value estimate, probably around 1.1 is what you're looking at there. So, all right, folks, we'll be back with our mortgage segment coming up, and we'll see you here in a few. Thanks.
The J.C. Harder Insurance Agency in Uptown Dallas has nearly unlimited resources when it comes to getting you the best insurance rates and policies for home, auto, and more. As part of the Goosehead Insurance brand, you, the consumer, have the power of choice through the J.C. Harder Insurance Agency Network. For a quote today on all your insurance needs, stop by J.C.'s office on McKinney Avenue in Uptown Dallas. Call 214-643-6108 or visit jcharderagency.com. That's 214-643-6108 or jcharderagency.com.
Millennium Title Carroll PC Real Estate is a unique multi-service real estate title, law, and real estate investment firm that handles over 150 commercial and residential closings each month. Their real estate, legal, and tax services range from purchases to refinances to short sales and reverse mortgages. They can handle all of your real estate, legal, and tax planning needs. Their experience offers clients and investors a comprehensive perspective in managing their real estate, law, and investment needs. Visit txtitleattorney.com, that's txtitleattorney.com, or call 817-310-0136.
Now back to Inside Real Estate. Here's Mike the Realtor.
Hey folks, we're back. It's Inside Real Estate. Mike Kruizinga here. Live in studio, we've got our folks from Supreme Lending Rockwall. The website is rockymartin.com, and that's Rocky with an I-E, not Rocky Balboa. It's Rocky I-E. Martin, rockymartin.com is the website. The phone number over at the office is 866-607-5667, 866-607-5667 to reach out to those folks. Here in studio is Terry Wagner. And Terry, how are we doing today?
Doing great, thank you. How are you, Mike?
I'm excellent.
Good. Hope you had a great 4th of July.
Thank you, and you as well. And just wanted to mention this about Terry. She was featured in the Texas Monthly Magazine, the June issue. And so it just goes to show, our partners are the elite of the elite in the mortgage business. Tell us a little bit about that article.
Oh, it was quite an honor to be included in that. There was a total, I believe, of 18 Supreme Lending loan officers that were in that, and it was a lot of fun to go to the photo shoot and send out copies to families in other states and stuff like that. So it was a lot of fun to be a part of that article.
That's great. And again, it just goes to show, folks, I mean, we work with the best. And, when you're thinking about your mortgage needs out there, whether it's refinance or purchase, you want to be with the best as well. And that's our folks right here at Supreme Lending. So, well, let's get into some mortgage talk, Terry.
Okay, good deal. Well, I wanted to talk today a little bit about down payment requirements and some assistance that's available for some folks out there. A lot of people, Mike, I don't know if you know this or not, a lot of people still are under the misconception that you have to have your own 20% down to be able to purchase a house, and that's just absolutely not true.
Sure.
There are several loan types. You've got FHA, conventional, USDA, and VA loans. And the USDA and the VA loans, they still allow for 100% financing, zero down. Obviously, there are restrictions that go along with that. VA, you have to be a veteran. USDA, it's not, you have to go out a little bit. You can't be right in the middle of Dallas or Tarrant County. But with those loan types, there are grant programs that are out there that our office in Rockwall is extremely proficient in helping customers figure out which loan program, which grant program is going to fit their needs the best. The three that we use most often are, the first one is TSHAC, and that stands for Texas State Affordable Housing Corporation. That grant program was specifically designed for teachers, police, firefighters, those type of occupations, but they're not restricted to those type of occupations. You can be any other type of occupation. Your income just can't be as high as if you were in those occupations and qualify for that program.
Sure.
Then we've got the SETH program, and that's an abbreviation for Southeast Texas Housing Finance. That's another great program. Those two do not require you to be a first-time home buyer. So anyone, if you're selling a home and you need assistance, let's say you're not getting the equity that you think you want to get from the sale of the home and you need a little assistance to get into a new home, you can still do that. Then there is another one that it does require you to be a first-time home buyer, and that's TDHCA, Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs. That one is the only loan or grant program that we offer that does require payback. The other two, it is strictly a grant, and it's government assistance that does not have to be paid back.
Sure. Now, real quick on the program for the sellers where they've got maybe some little equity in their property, we've still got some folks that are scared about selling since the crash. And one of the reasons why we have such a tight market right now is a lot of those folks are still hanging out. If they bought right before the crash, they bought high.
Right.
And so they've got little equity right now. And so maybe they need to move. Maybe they need to upgrade. Maybe they need to downsize, whatever the case may be. But they're hanging back. And so this is a huge program for maybe those types of sellers. And I'm telling you, if you're one of those types of sellers out there, our inventory is so limited, and we've got so many buyers on the sidelines that need to purchase right now. Hey, we need your house. And this program could be for them. Could you elaborate a little bit more on that program?
Yeah, that's a good point, Mike. There's assistance in different levels. You can get 3% grant money, 4%, 5%, and then one of them even allows for up to 6% grant money. So if you've got a little bit of money, but you don't have it all together, instead of holding on and not selling that property until you've saved your 20% down, go ahead. Like you said, we need your house on the market right now, and apply for one of these grant programs. They are awesome programs that allow for, and another good point that I wanted to talk about, Mike, is, Rocky a couple of weeks ago talked about what a tight market we have right now. And if you want to be the winner, if you're in a multiple offer situation and you're asking for the seller to pay your closing costs, you're not going to get that. You're not going to get that contract.
Exactly.
So why not utilize one of these programs? You've got your down payment, but you just need help with the closing costs. Utilize one of these grant programs to assist you with your closing costs, and then you can still move forward with selling your current home and get into a new one.
Exactly. And because, people, you put your life and your plans on hold when you kind of feel like you're stuck in those four walls, and, you need to move out for whatever reason. Maybe you need to reduce your commute. Maybe you're driving an hour into work. You need to reduce that commute. You change jobs, whatever the case may be. Maybe you want to get to another school district. We've got 1,000 reasons for, needing to move, upgrade, downsize, empty nest, whatever the case is. And if you feel like you're hostage in that house because you bought right before the crash and you bought high, this is a great program for you guys. And the inventory is so tight out there. We're almost at the point where we're just going door to door saying, hey, you want to think about moving, let's pay you to move out here. And so this is a great program for you. And folks out there, this is one of the reasons why you want to work with us, at the Chris Arnold Premier Brokerage. You want to work with me, Mike Kruizinga, because we work with the best. And we have programs like this that can get you out of that house and moving on. So, all right, sorry, we got a little sidetracked there with that topic.
That's okay.
Go on, Terry.
Well, I was just going to also mention that, with these loan programs, there are income limits. With each of them, it's a little bit different. one of them allows for up to $80,000 a yearly income. So, that still leaves a door open for quite a few buyers out
absolutely.
there. The rates are pretty competitive with what the market is. Now, the rates are set by the programs themselves. They're not set by Supreme Lending or any other lender. The programs themselves set those rates. And let's say you get 3% grant money, you're going to be pretty competitive with what the market is right now. Okay? And then the more grant money you get, the higher your interest rate's going to be.
Sure. And here's a great story, folks. I recently had a client, as a teacher, used one of the down payment assistance programs over in Fort Worth. We helped her find a home in Fort Worth, and guess what, folks? She got into the house for $70, okay? Now, she had to put some earnest money down, but she got it back at closing as part of that program. So $70 was the option fee. She bought 7 days for the unrestricted right to terminate that contract. That's all she ended up putting out was $70. Now, of course, she paid for an inspection, but as far as the amount of dollars she put into it, $70, folks. Bought a house for $70 through the down payment assistance program. And Terry, you're doing that type of thing all the time. Right.
We close a lot of loans using the assistance, and there's not all the lenders out there participate in these programs. So you want to make sure that you use a lender that is well versed in these different down payment assistance programs, because it can get confusing. And there are some limitations and some restrictions that you want to make sure that you're working with someone that knows what they're doing. Yeah, absolutely. And, as someone who has worked in the real estate industry, and closed lots of deals, I can tell you a lot of times, a client comes with their own mortgage professional, and that's fine. It's 100% up to the buyer who they're going to use to finance their mortgage. But, when we see that it's, some 20-something that's, a new loan officer, and they're not well versed in the program, well, a lot of issues arise, and a lot of times those deals go south, and that's why we work with the best. We work with veterans like the Rocky Martin team and like Terry, and because they're going to get you taken care of, and you're going to get the loan done right. Right. There's lots of stories, Mike, like the one you were just telling, where your teacher customer purchased a house for $70. I have a one that I'm closing tomorrow morning. Where they're getting a good portion of their earnest money back. So that is not uncommon at all. You are going to have to put the earnest money up front, and we'll tell you the requirements as we take your application. And speaking of application, there's someone at the office now to take calls. If you have further questions about what we're talking about today, please call our office at 866-607-5667. They'll be happy to answer any questions that you have about these down payment assistance programs, and we would love to be able to assist you. Absolutely. And folks, we're going to probably talk a little bit mortgage when we come back later on. Upcoming, we've got the insurance segment coming up here at 8:30 with JC Harder, and so we're going to be talking insurance. We're going to be talking scheduled programs there, as well as we're going to talk about those investments that you make that are covered under loss provisions when you schedule, guns, for example, your firearms and jewelry, etc. So we're going to be talking about that coming up, and then hopefully later in the show, we're hopefully going to get back to a little bit more mortgage talk with Terry. Folks, come on back. We'll see you here in a few seconds for Insurance Talk. With decades of experience, the Rocky Martin Supreme Lending Team will work to close your home loan in 30 days or less. With access to the most competitive interest rates, the most financing options, and the most access to down payment assistance programs, the Rocky Martin Team won't be beating service to you for all your mortgage needs, including purchase and refinance. Trust RockyMartin.com and his team for their reliable and fast loan process. Go to RockyMartin.com or call 972-772-1866 today.
For housing lender, NMLS ID number 211731, 6730 Horizon Road, Suite B, Heath, Texas 75032. Sellers, how would you like your home sold guaranteed? Buyers, how would you like your bid guaranteed to win? Well, it's real simple. Call Mike Kruizinga with Chris Arnold Premier Realty and ask about their guarantee programs for both buyers and sellers. No one beats Mike's professional listing and marketing services for all price ranges, including luxuries and ranches. And few have the knowledge and patience to take first-time buyers from renting to home ownership in a tough market. Visit DFWMetroplexRealestate.com and mention you heard this on the radio. And listen to Mike Sundays, 8 a.m. on KLIF for Inside Real Estate.
Millennium Title Carroll PC Real Estate is a unique multi-service real estate title, law, and real estate investment firm that handles over 150 commercial and residential closings each month. Their real estate, legal, and tax services range from purchases to refinances to short sales and reverse mortgages. They can handle all of your real estate, legal, and tax planning needs. Their experience offers clients and investors a comprehensive perspective in managing their real estate, law, and investment needs. Visit txtitleattorney.com, that's txtitleattorney.com, or call 817-310-0136.
National Mortgage Hotline is not a bank or direct lender. It is a marketing program that delivers home loan referrals to participating mortgage broker and lender clients nationwide. Okay, so you want to buy a new home or you want to save money and refi an existing mortgage. But hey, who has time to make call after call to find the right loan? And if you go online, who are you really talking to? And can you trust them? Well, there's a quick and easy solution. It's called the National Mortgage Hotline. This is a free, no-cost, no-obligation referral network that literally works with hundreds of banks nationwide to help find you the lowest interest rates and closing costs. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call 1-800-652-7313. That's 1-800-652-7313. In addition, a fair credit score is not a problem, and you can get approved in as little as 48 hours. You can even get a 125% loan to value on a refi. If you need a home loan, call the National Mortgage Hotline first. This call can literally save you tens of thousands in the long run. Call 1-800-652-7313. That's 1-800-652-7313. Call the National Mortgage Hotline today. 1-800-652-7313.
Now back to Inside Real Estate. Here's Mike the Realtor.
With two cats in the yard, life used to be so hard. Now everything is easy 'cause of you.
All right, folks, welcome back to Inside Real Estate with Mike Kruizinga. It's time for our insurance segment. We've got J.C. Harder in studio. J.C. owns the Goosehead Uptown Insurance Agency, just around the corner from my office, down by West Village on McKinney Ave. And the website is jcharderagency.com, jcharderagency.com, and the number over at his office, 214-643-6108, 214-643-6108. JC, welcome back.
Thanks for having me, Mike. Good morning, everyone. I want to take a few minutes with it being summertime. You can also call this wedding season, even though it gets a little warm here in Texas for those outdoor, weddings. But I wanted to basically relate the jewelry, fine arts, golfing equipment, firearms, cameras, furs, anything that's high value. You should basically list those off as scheduled personal property on your home insurance policy. Now, if you're asking what is scheduled personal property, it gives you full replacement cost of the item that you schedule, and it avoids the deductible completely. Most homeowners policies have sublimits written into their specific policy forms. For instance, not every household has a Rolex watch or a $20,000 wedding ring. So insurance companies have basically created sublimits for all these items that I just mentioned here. So to get the full protection value on your higher value personal belongings, you want to talk to your agent. You want to call in to JC and Patty here at Goosehead Insurance, and we can build the correct policy and go over those values with you.
Yeah, that's such a great point, JC, because, guys, especially for y'all out there, what's the largest dollar value gift that we're going to buy the special woman on our lives? Well, that's going to be that diamond engagement ring. And yeah, we may spend $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, whatever the case may be. And guess what? She could lose it on the honeymoon down in Cabo, snorkeling in the ocean. And guess what? You just lost, $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 if you weren't smart enough to call JC and put it on a separate, add it to the policy, right?
Absolutely. And that's one of the biggest or main reasons you do want to schedule that personal property is because it covers loss and disappearance. No true home insurance policy covers loss and disappearance. Now, obviously, theft is covered in your homeowner's policy, but again, every homeowner can't claim a Rolex watch or a wedding ring, $2,000 worth of golf clubs. So you really want to be specific on those items so in case something does happen, you get that true value back.
Now, on for example, with the diamond ring, I know when I was previously married, I had to get it appraised, the diamond ring appraised, and now do you still have to get that done by the jeweler?
Anything high value, and consider high value 10,000 or higher. So anything 10,000 or higher, you definitely want to keep an appraisal on file. All these jewelry shops, they give you an appraisal when purchasing those items. Now, if you go and find one, online from a wholesaler, things like that, it's worth, your appraisal fee to go get that so you can have it insured correctly.
Okay. And of course, being here in Texas, we all have guns, and some of us may have more than others, and some of us have collectible weapons and firearms. And so I love that you mentioned that, and because that applies to a lot of us.
Absolutely. And again, each one of those homeowners policies have a standard sublimit, so they will max out at say $1,500 or $2,500 for all of your firearms. Where I'm sure most of you have some firearms that exceed that, just for one, then you add on 2 or 3, you're not going to get any value out of that, and you're going to have a horrible claims experience. So keep all receipts for any, firearm purchases, and they're a little different as far as the appraisal. So receipt does suffice with the insurance carrier. And then obviously, your hand-me-down situations, we can build out a value for that. But either way, as long as it's listed there, then you're going to have a much better claims experience in case something happens.
Gotcha. So let's say, you're out hunting with the guys one weekend, and you got a couple of shotguns with you, and they may be a couple of your nice shotguns. They might be, $1,200 a pop or even better than that. And, something happens, you're near water, they get lost. Probably a good thing to have those scheduled. Is that right?
Absolutely. And again, the main benefit is you avoid that sum limit, so you get the full value. But again, anytime you can file an insurance claim and not have any deductible taken out of pocket, you're going to, be thankful for taking some time and, making sure you have the correct coverage.
Now, what about the artwork? I know you mentioned that, and how does that work?
So artwork is the same thing. You want some type of proof of purchase, receipt, or appraisal. Some companies will cover it as far as stolen, loss, fire, things like that. But even some, MetLife in general, I just did one for a condo here in Victory Park where we're recording, and she was able to schedule a 20,000 piece of artwork, frame, the print, everything, and it's covered for breakage. So if it fell off the wall and shattered, she could claim that on her insurance without any deductible.
Oh, that's unbelievable because, we know things happen. People, may bump into the wall, et cetera. It may not have been hung properly. And boom, you think, oh, wow, I just lost $20,000 because it just crashed to the floor. But no, if you were smart enough to call JC and schedule it, and boom, you're taken care of. Love it.
And kind of to wrap things up on the scheduled personal property, it does take a little more time. It takes a little more effort to get those values there. But again, the premium is not very expensive to add those on. So take some time, find those numbers, and we can insure it correctly.
That's great. All right, JC. Well, thanks again for being here and taking care of us on our insurance segment. That's been JC Harder of the JC Harder Agency. Website, jcharderagency.com. Phone number at the office, 214-643-6108, 214-643-6108. Give him or Patty a call for all your insurance needs. JC Harder, thanks so much. And folks, we'll be right back with Inside Real Estate with Mike Kruizinga. With decades of experience, the Rocky Martin Supreme Lending Team will work to close your home loan in 30 days or less. With access to the most competitive interest rates, the most financing options, and the most access to down payment assistance programs, the Rocky Martin team won't be beating service to you for all your mortgage needs, including purchase and refinance. Trust RockyMartin.com and his team for their reliable and fast loan process. Go to RockyMartin.com or call 972-772-1866 today.
For housing lender, NMLS ID number 211731, 6730 Horizon Road, Suite B, Heath, Texas 75032.
If you can't recall your own cell phone number, but know the braking distance of a half-ton pickup traveling downhill at 57 miles per hour, then CarQuest Auto Parts is for you. That's because CarQuest Auto Parts is for those who really know and care about their car. Right now, get a half-inch drive click-style torque wrench, a $34.99 value for just $10 with the purchase of CarQuest Platinum brake pads and 2 rotors. CarQuest is serious auto parts.
See participating stores for details.
Don't miss the Delta Trading Show, now at a new day and time. Join us every Saturday at 2 p.m. right here on 570 KLIF. Learn secrets from renowned trader Dr. Vance Cast on how you can start a very profitable career without buying a business. No selling, no inventory, no employees, and no debt. That's the Delta Trading Show, Saturdays at 2 p.m. Our question line is 888-959-4004. 888-959-4004.
Now back to Inside Real Estate. Here's Mike the Realtor.
Hey folks, it's Mike Kruizinga here. We're back to Inside Real Estate. That was the insurance segment with J.C. Harder. I hope you folks learned some things out there. We're all I've got some investments out there that we need to get covered, and we talked about some firearms, and we talked about diamond rings and whatnot. And so I'm telling you folks, you don't need it until you need it. So call J.C. and get that. Get those investments taken care of and get those investments scheduled, okay? We're going to, hopefully, a little bit later in the show, we want to get back to Terry. Not yet, but we will. I want to talk a little bit of USDA and a little bit of VA if we can, so hopefully we're going to get back to that a little bit later in the show. First up, I would like to talk about survey coverage. And, folks, one of the most common issues we have with our neighbors is over boundaries, the fence line, etc. And so if there's going to be an issue that comes up generally between you and your neighbor, it's over maybe something that's going to be related to a boundary. And so a lot of times people don't know that that's not covered. Those types of issues with easements and whatnot, most of which are not going to be covered under your homeowner's title policy. So there's a separate coverage. It's called survey coverage. And, why you should get that and why you should get it from our folks at Millennium Title is because, first of all, it's super cheap. For example, it's generally about 5% of the sales price. So now it can be up to 15%, but generally it's about 5%. So for example, $250,000 home, survey coverage runs about $85 and change. One-time payment of $85, folks, and you're going to be covered for boundary issues, etc. Let me give you a few examples of some things that could come up. Not only, is the fence on the wrong side of the property line, not directly on the line. I mean, it could be 2 feet, 3 feet into your neighbor's yard. And, hey, they would be well within their right to say, hey, you know what? I'd like that 2 or 3 feet times that entire 100 foot down the line that they share with you, back in my property. And here's some other examples. Let's say part of the driveway encroaches the property line. You didn't notice that in advance, or maybe it's just, it was just part of the design. The house may have been built in the 70s or 80s, and everybody just lived with it. And then all of a sudden you got a new neighbor, and they figure it out. Well, hey, we need to deal with it, right? How's that going to be covered? We've got utility easements generally all the way around our property. Generally there's 5 to 15 feet on your back line, maybe at 5 feet on each side line. That's going to be easements. And what happens if there's a structure there that's in the way? Maybe part of the pool deck is in the way. Utility company needs to get in there. Who's going to pay for all that? maybe something that's encroaching on one of your lines. Maybe the city needs to get in there. Maybe the HOA decides to change something and they need to get in there, or it's just not allowed. It's a nuisance now. So who's going to pay for that? Well, a lot of these things are covered, folks, if you get survey coverage. And like I said, generally it's only about 5% of the sales price, can be up to about 15%. But let's just say that $250,000 house, $85, folks, $85. And so, if you're out there and you're already working with a real estate agent and you're in a transaction, but you haven't closed yet, and your agent hasn't brought up to you survey coverage, well, shame on them. And you should be working with me anyway, or one of our folks at the office. But thank goodness you haven't closed yet, and you can still get survey coverage. It's just a small add-on. Generally the seller's not going to pay for it, but it's such a small price. You might get the seller to pay for it, but hey, $50, $100, whatever, do it. Get your survey coverage because you really need it. And, our folks over at Millennium Title, our exclusive title insurance partners, they can take care of that for you. If you're working with us, that we're going to get you to the best experts in the business. We're going to get you to Millennium Title, and we're going to get them to take care of that for you. They're going to bring that up and make sure you're covered there. The website for Millennium Title, txtitleattorney.com, txtitleattorney.com. The office number for Nancy Carroll and all her staff over there is 817-310-0136, 817-310-0136. And, Nancy is an attorney, and, a lot of times we do need a real estate attorney for various things, and anything related to that, she is your woman. And also direct investments, real estate investments, short sales. And, I handle short sales being a real estate agent, but a lot of times with the flow of business that I have, I refer those out. And, Nancy's office does handle those, and she handles them very well. And, hey, why not use an attorney to manage your short sale? Real estate agents can do that for you, absolutely. But hey, Nancy does that. She does it really well. So if that's something that you still have an issue with, we still have a few short sales out there, not too many now. But if that's something that you need, maybe get over to our website, InsideRealEstateRadio.com, and hook over to our partners over there at Millennium Title. All right, folks. Well, let's get back into a few more real estate topics. One item that came up commercial-wise, net office leasing doubles this year compared to 2014. That's good news. Building vacancy rates dropped to about 16%. And, hey, that's been the lowest since the 1980s. So that's good news. There is about 6.2 million square feet of office space being built in the area. So, as our supply shrinks up, what are we going to do? We need to handle that. So we're going to be doing some building. $30 a square foot, folks, is about what we're seeing in average rents. So that's up about 5%. So, hey, commercial real estate, we're doing good, folks. I mean, and DFW is doing so great anyway. I mean, if you look at markets all across, the U.S., we're so lucky here in Texas, and we're so lucky here in Dallas-Fort Worth. That's why everybody's moving here. So let's talk rentals a little bit, okay? Guess what? If you're having a hard time trying to find a house out there, well, renters, you're having a hard time trying to find a home to rent as well as an apartment to rent. Less than 5% DFW apartments are vacant. I wasn't even sure I could believe that. Less than 5% vacant, and that's the truth, which just goes to show why the rent demand is so high, and why the rent prices keep going up and up and up. Average apartments running about $952 a month, and the newer apartments are running around $1,400 a month here in the DFW area. Now if you want to be in some of the posher areas, kind of like where my office is, which is right in Uptown over West Village area, you're looking at probably a minimum of throwing down $1,800 a month to rent something over there, and that's going to obviously be something fairly small and tight where you can touch all four walls by standing in one spot. But rent price is super high, folks. But good news, there's some relief coming. Some 35,000 and change apartments are under construction. Those numbers haven't been seen in about 3 decades, folks. We haven't been building that much apartments in about 3 decades. So relief is on the way for you renters. 35,000 plus apartments currently under construction. But until then, hey, get out of the rent race, will you? The rent keeps going up, every time you renew. If you don't renew and go month to month, they hit you even harder. And folks, you need to pay attention to your credit score so you're not stuck in a situation where you have to keep getting hit, on a monthly or 6-month, semi-annual or annual basis with those rent increases. For what you're paying, let's just say that average of around $1,400 for you want to live in a newer apartment, $1,400 a month mortgage. The way the interest rates are so low right now, that's probably going to get you up to around $160,000, depending on your credit score, et cetera. And, let's bring Terry back in on this. And, Terry, let's say that $1,400, depending on their credit score and whatnot, that probably gets them about what, $160,000, $165,000, depending on the interest rate.
It sure does. There's not a good reason to keep renting, especially with what we were talking about this morning with the down payment assistance. If you've got the credit score that allows you to qualify for the grant programs, there's not a good reason not to at least reach out and talk to someone and see what you're going to qualify for.
Yeah, exactly. Folks, it's crazy. We help first-time buyers all the time, and so often they just say, well, I'm not ready, or they just don't want to deal with the move, or they feel like it's going to take them forever to get their credit score where it needs to be. Hey, everybody, we've all had bumps and bruises on our credit along the way. And honestly, the way credit scores are run now, most of the time, it's not because of our fault. A lot of times you experience medical issues and you go to the doctor, and then here's an example from the past. There was one, it was a bill for $50 because they forgot to charge for surgical gloves. And we never saw the bill come in, and that stupid thing with that $50 bill that you never saw from the hospital, and it dropped your credit score like 100 points. I mean, It was absolutely crazy. And so, folks, a lot of times it's just not our fault with how the credit scores are run. Don't get me started on that. That's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. But it's not our fault a lot of the time. So, but you got to stay on top of it. We have credit counseling people that we work with, and obviously, we get you over to Terry and her folks, and they can evaluate you. And don't think that you have to be stuck as a renter for the rest of your life. And don't think just because you want to wait to do the dream home that you want to skip the starter home. Because, folks, the inventory is so tight, you might need that starter home first, right, Terry?
Sure, absolutely. And I always tell people we have to know what our starting point is. The only way to know what our starting point is to pull that credit, see where we stand. If there's some issues that we need to correct, we can certainly get those corrected. A lot of times we can correct them right there in our own office. It's just simple sometimes for us to assist people to get their credit scores up a little bit so that we can provide them some more assistance in purchasing their house.
Exactly. And folks, you don't have to wait until your credit score is, that perfect number. Everybody's situation is a little bit different. If we're going to take you conventional or whatever, maybe we need to get you to a certain point, but Terry and her team can get that done for you. I want to get back to the down payment assistance a little bit. We didn't get a chance to touch on USDA and VA, and honestly, we could spend a whole day on USDA. We could spend a whole day on VA, but let's try to get a little bit into that.
Okay. The down payment assistance programs that we were talking about earlier, Mike, you can use in combination with the VA and the USDA loans. And I mentioned earlier that those were the two loan types that allow for 100% financing, no down payment. So you can use the minimum grant money and pay for your closing costs. And like you mentioned earlier, possibly come out of it with just your option fee and getting your earnest money back. So you can combine the grant programs with those programs as well.
And I think that's a great point, because a lot of times, we've got so many veterans here in the state of Texas. I've worked with veterans all the time, and obviously they want to use their VA eligibility.
Absolutely.
And we get them taken care of, but then they find out in a tight market like this, when we do need to get some seller help, that those offers can go to the bottom of the pile, especially in a multiple offer situation.
Sure.
Or that offer can get sat on while they wait for another offer, where a seller might wait for another offer that's a little bit better on their pocketbook. And obviously, as a seller, you want to do the best that you can do for yourself. And so, we don't want to fault anybody there. But if you are trying to use that VA, this might be a way to combine.
Absolutely. Yeah, because like we said, you can do the 3%, 4%, 5% grant money and have all of your... You can even use, Mike, you can... let's say you're doing a VA loan and you have a little bit of money that you can use for your closing costs. You can do the 5% grant money and use that as a down payment because you get a little bit better funding fee. On the VA loan, instead of mortgage insurance, you have a funding fee. Mm-hmm. So you can better your funding fee if you have 5% down.
Nice. Very nice. And folks, don't forget about the USDA loan. I know a lot of areas here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area are blocked out as far as the USDA loan is considered. But, a lot of people think USDA, that's just for rural. And yes, it is. But there still are some areas in the Dallas-Fort Worth area where you can get that USDA loan. For example, I have a lot of clients that utilize it in Crowley. Crowley is one of the holdouts that still, you can still use that USDA loan. Now, Burleson, you would think could, but it doesn't. Cleburne can't. But there's some places out near you over on the east side.
Right,
as well.
out in Rockwall. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Rockwall.
Yeah, there's
Forney, right?
Forney is still eligible. Fate, Royce City, Caddo Mills, some of those eastern cities out there, we can certainly still use the USDA.
Yeah, and there's some cities up north too, Prosper and a lot of northern lying areas, as well as way back up to the northwest as well. So if you're looking in those areas, folks, hey, why not try that USDA zero down? Now a lot of people hear about the USDA loan and like, oh wow, it took forever, and you don't want to maybe go through that hassle. But hey, folks, hello, zero down.
Well, but now, Mike, that used to be the case with USDA, but they have certainly caught themselves up. So we're not waiting the 2 weeks for the USDA to give us our commitment any longer. They're a lot quicker. Usually within a week, we get that back.
And that is really good because, folks, what happens is the mortgage lender has to send that file off to the USDA, and the USDA has kind of got to go through their internal process of reviewing it and processing it. And if your mortgage lender didn't get their ducks in a row when they sent the file over, guess what? That file gets kicked back to the lender, right. And then it's got to go back to USDA. And so a lot of times it has to deal with, who did you use as your lender? Did you use one of those 20-something rookie agents that's never even done a USDA loan, and they didn't get your file prepped and ready to go before it went to USDA, and then it got kicked back? Well, hey, folks, I've seen that happen, and it is a pain in the butt. I one time had a USDA deal. It took about 3 months. It still got done, but it was ridiculous, and honestly, it was all because the lender didn't get it done. And this was a lender that, hey, the buyer brought, and, we wish they'd have gone with, our folks. That wouldn't have been the case. But yeah, USDA is way better now, and something to think about, folks. Well, Terry, what else do we have on down payment?
One other thing that I wanted to talk about that we didn't touch on earlier, most people associate the down payment assistance programs with FHA loans. That's the most common. But you can also use the down payment assistance on the conventional loans. There is a new Fannie Mae product, conventional, 3% down. You have to be a first-time home buyer to utilize that program, but you can combine that with the grant program. So again, you've got some money set aside yourself, but not all of it put together, talk to us about the conventional 3% down and utilizing the grant money to pay that down payment for you.
Absolutely. And then just another great option, folks, we work with the best. Terry Wagner, Supreme Lending Rockwall, website rockymartin.com. Office number over there is 866-607-5667. Thanks, Terry, for being in. And so we've got just a little bit of time left, folks, and I'm a super huge sports buff. We don't have high school sports this week. We're going to get back to that next week. But a couple things did happen over the last couple days with some of our local teams here. Hey, guess what the Mavs did? They went out and picked up DeAndre Jordan off the Clippers. Wow. 4-year deal, $80 million. Walked away from what would have been a 5-year, $108 million deal from the Clippers. So still around $20 million a year, but he went 4 years with us, $80 million and change. He was born down in Houston, played for A&M, so he's coming back home to Texas, so that's going to be awesome. Last year, this guy had a field goal percentage of 71% last year. That's ridiculous. Now, he only was at 11.5 points per game, but obviously he's a center, so that was pretty good. 15 rebounds per game, a little over 2 blocks a game, and actually had an average to steal a game as well, but 71% from the floor. That's ridiculous. Hey, DeAndre is coming to Dallas, folks. But not to be outdone, just down Interstate 35, San Antonio Spurs pick up LaMarcus Aldridge in their own 4-year, $80 million deal. So how about that over at the Spurs? He left the Blazers, but he was averaging 23 points a game and last year. So nice job for the Spurs as well as the Mavs. Well, folks, hey, it's been Inside Real Estate with Mike Kruizinga, and we're going to see you next week, folks. Tune in 8 a.m. Sundays, Inside Real Estate with Mike Kruizinga. Thanks, folks. See you next week. Neither the hosts nor the guests or contributors of the show Inside Real Estate with Mike Kruizinga are attorneys, CPAs, tax advisors, or investment advisors, and are not providing legal advice during the course of the show. If you need professional legal advice or services in any of those categories, please seek the appropriate professional. The host is a licensed real estate agent in Texas with the Chris Arnold Premier Realty Brokerage, a fair housing broker and member of the MLS. Texas real estate agents are prohibited from providing legal advice.
570 AM KLIF. IF.